Howdy, boys and girls. Welcome back to week 3 of the 2020 college football season, such as it is, and therefore week 3 of the Carla and Crappy Show. I am Crappy. If you're watching this, you'll notice I have a weird thing on my head, and we're going to talk about that here in just a second. First, let's say hi to Carla. Hi, Carla.
Hi.
How you doing?
I don't have something weird in my head. I didn't get the memo. Sorry.
Well, I don't know that there is a memo. We don't know for sure, and
we have no idea.
God's like, I've heard that before. We have no idea. We do have an idea because this week we're delving deep into a group of 5 territory. So we thought it would be best if our buddy AJ just joined us in person. Hi, AJ.
Hello. Welcome to my world.
There's
I'm
AJ's
glad you're
world.
here. This is you're scraping the barrel. It'd be a damn shame if there wasn't a barrel to scrape, baby.
Well, yeah, that's
We put on for the G5 here.
This is sort of how I feel. What you said last week about your games, the G5 games, being the ones that people should watch this year, I think is absolutely correct. Obviously.
Hey, who ranked Iowa State 23? Who did that? Who said that was probably a bad idea?
I don't know how that happened in the first place, but you're absolutely right to call that out, as we are now aware. Guys, I mentioned at the outset, I'm wearing an odd thing on my hand. If you're not watching the show, you can't see that I have an Ohio State hat on my head. I have an Ohio State hat on my head because since last Sunday, this is Tuesday, there has been discussion, kind of like the Big Ten is going to come back in October. Although we were supposed to hear something on Sunday and did not. We were supposed to hear something, according to the president of the University of Nebraska, today, and we did not. Although I suppose it's 10:15 right now, and the day is not yet over. My question. And AJ, to start with you, are we going to see Big Ten football in the calendar year 2020?
Probably. We shouldn't. I think that them doubling back on it and saying we're going to play is them completely and utterly copping out to other conferences that that made choices and such. But apparently the actual piece of news here is that on a hot mic, I believe it was Nebraska.ET or president came out and said they were voting to bring it back and they were going to do that. And he was on a hot mic. Hey, Mike, hey, Nebraska people, maybe walk away from the microphone if you don't have anything nice to say. Ask Bo Pelini. So all of these sorts of things have come out. I see them coming back. They're basically staring at all of the other conferences, making it work. And they're basically staring at money that they're not getting. So they would like that money, and they've recognized that everybody's coming back. The other report that I've seen is that if the Big Ten does vote to come back, the Pac-12 will also vote to come back. So, hey, Big Ten, if you could speed this up, Daddy wants his Pac-12 after dark. Okay?
There you go. There you go. The Pac-12 has the whole West Coast is actually on fire.
So there's that problem. Okay.
I don't know how you manage that on top of everything else.
Fix wildfires and climate change. Okay. Right.
But
the NCAA can only kind of control what it controls.
Sure. But if I remember this correctly, I think the governors in California and Oregon would specifically have to issue exemptions to allow those sports to be played. So that adds another level of stuff to work through if the Pac-12 is going to join us. But that was not the question. That was not.
I want to say that there was actually a letter sent to the governor by somebody from USC.
Yeah.
By the USC football players as a group on USC letterhead sent a letter to Governor Newsom, asking the governor to create the exemption to let them play.
Okay. Okay. Carla, what do you think? The Big Ten football in this calendar year?
I think they'll try. I'm with AJ. I think it's a terrible idea. And my reasoning behind that is the way that we talked this week. Back in week 1, we talked about how, or week 2 after the BYU game, BYU Navy, we said how much we were looking forward to BYU Army. And that's a game that's not happening this weekend because of cases with BYU.
Because those Mormon kids are going nuts.
It is a little bit of a head scratcher. So
Arkansas State just did the same thing. Arkansas State played Memphis, I think, and now they've canceled their game against Central Arkansas. Or no, other way around. I think it was Central. No, Arkansas State said that they were canceling the game because they had too many players in quarantine from certain position groups that they couldn't even play the game.
Right.
So they postponed the game. So college football is now baseball. Just games are postponed. They will be played at a future date.
Kind of, yeah. And it's just a bad idea for the Big Ten to push the issue this soon. It's gonna affect the quality of play. You're not gonna get anything of any sort of consistency, as we're finding out with other teams or in other conferences. Yeah. Like at this point, just stick with the plan. Hold off. Let's let a little bit of this subside, and get some semblance of normalcy that can have maybe a little bit better predictability if we hold this off for about 3 or 4 months. And even if it's only a 6-game season, at least that's something moving forward. This scheduling stuff is just, it would be a nightmare if they tried now. As much as I want it to come back, because I want it to come back, but
they could do that. I mean, the timing, they have to be finished by December 19th, right? Because the committee names the Final Four on December 20th this year. So if you do a 6-game in division round robin, maybe do 1 crossover game, so you have a 7-game schedule. You have a Big Ten championship game. There's time if you start in mid-October to do that with at least 1 bye week, and maybe 2. I haven't counted stuff yet, but so it could be done. And I'm, I would be lying if a fan, Uncle Crappy, would be awfully happy to watch Ohio State football. But what I said when we did a show in the summer, like, this is a bad idea. It's and then I can come up with lots of football related reasons to why it's a bad idea. And Carla, you mentioned a bunch of them. The quality of the play, and how do you figure out, how do you compare teams which are, they're playing different schedules, they're not playing head-to-head stuff. And but I think it's going to happen. The only thing that gives me pause is that we've heard twice this week. It's like today, it's going to be announced, and we haven't heard that yet. So I'm it may be a little bit dubious, but I think that's kind of a speed bump.
Listen, all eyes are on the smoke, or on the chimney at Culver's. That when the white smoke goes up from the Culver's,
I think
that's when there's a season.
I think Spencer said Bob Evans. If there's white
smoke coming from Bob Evans. I was going with Culver's because I was aiming for Indiana, not Ohio. But
yeah. But I mean, either way is apt. I suspect there's a decent chance that by the time you guys are listening to the show on Thursday, that we will know that the Big Ten is coming back. But I don't know. We'll wait and see and talk about that when the time comes. Did you guys have any observations from last weekend? Bunch of fun stuff as the schedule kind of fills out. Carla, what'd you come across last weekend that you enjoyed?
I will save the reign of the Fun Belt for my good friend AJ, who I'm sure will want to talk about that extensively. So I would like to bring up a tip of the glass.
Hey, tipping glasses
to Houston Baptist.
Right,
Baptist.
Who gave Texas Tech.
Is this like a summer Bible study thing? Is that what they're doing?
They're an FCS school. They're an FCS school that plays in the Southland.
Right.
They had another FBS opponent the week before. It was a Sunbelt team, I think. Gave them a run for their money. Played well. and then obviously came within converting a 2-point conversion of having Texas Tech tied in the fourth quarter, and just failed on that 2-point attempt. But the reason why I wanted to tip my glass to them is the fact they play in the Southland, which is a conference that canceled its season.
Mm-hmm.
So Houston Baptist season might be over. They only had 2 games on their schedule, and they've played them both. There's a third game that might be happening, but as of right now, it's been postponed and might not happen. Like, it's a thing. So Houston Baptist might finish its season 0-2 with 2 really admirable losses and finish their season before the SEC kicks off.
They have a third game. The third game is not this week. It's next week against Louisiana Tech.
Okay. It's been postponed. It's been postponed because Louisiana Tech has COVID cases.
Can we postpone that one? Because they had a postponement against Northwestern State too.
Yes. They've postponed that game from what I read today, and they're waiting to see if it'll be rescheduled.
Can we just give them a Bahamas Bowl invitation right now?
I mean,
other than the fact they're not eligible, but sure.
Yeah.
No. All bowls are eligible. All bowls are eligible.
What else are we going to do?
For FCS teams?
Yeah, why not?
Sure. Why not? Is it content for ESPN? Send them to the islands. I will say, go look up Houston Baptist's stadium, because on the one side of the field is the stands, and on the other side of the field is the back half of a CVS. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding in the slightest. They literally play in a CVS's backyard. Shout out to Houston Baptist for putting pressure on Texas Tech in Lubbock. Good for you. Guns up.
So that takes the cake for me last weekend.
Okay, I mean, and then absolutely, that is worthy, and I want to see him in the Bahamas Bowl. Period. That's I think they've earned that trip. AJ, what did you come across last weekend that you wanted to discuss?
I need y'all to do me a favor. I need you to open your hearts and let the Fun Belt in, because the Fun Belt put it on people.
Yes.
Who ranked Iowa State 23? People who didn't know better. Hey, it's a new era. It's the second season of Matt Kleinman at Kansas State. Here comes Arkansas State to whoop you in Manhattan. App State got a little squirrely with Charlotte. Not real happy about that, but they ended up pulling away with a two touchdown. Yeah,
they're fine.
UTSA Texas State pew shootout, put up 99 points, double overtime.
Mm-hmm.
What more do you want, everyone? They also let Campbell almost win, but hey, listen, can't win them all. And also, Coastal Carolina 2-0 against Les Miles, baby. They're going for 3 next year. This was supposed to be a home for Kansas, but because of COVID, they pulled the home game to this year, even though they didn't have any fans, which isn't any different from a regular Kansas game. But they pulled that forward to go home away. So next year is the rubber match. I mean, a rubber match doesn't really matter when you're down 2-0 in a 3-game series. Yeah. But the rubber match is in Conway, South Carolina. So Kansas has to go to Myrtle Beach to play this game, where they will likely lose. And if you watch the game, you would notice that the Coastal Carolina players were so much bigger than the Kansas players, like wildly bigger. Yeah, it was amazing. It was truly amazing. They were up 28-0, and they went into halftime 28-3. And I remember watching that going, that's the worst lead in sports. Yeah. And Kansas came back, and they made it like kind of close. Then Coastal Carolina put another 2 touchdowns on the board. It was amazing.
Yeah, the highlight of my weekend was the text conversation that we were having during that game. That was spectacular.
Also, update for the fans watching this. Les Miles, brown hair this year. Brown hair. No shoe polish. Brown hair.
Okay, well, it's a different shade of shoe polish.
I mean, no, he left the grays in too.
Oh, did he? Okay.
Yeah, he left the grays in. This is just for men. He didn't just slap some shoe polish on his head and call it a day. This is natural, by the way.
No, you're good. You're good. You're still what, like 26?
Something like that. Somewhere in there.
Okay.
I'm older than 26. I have children.
The striking thing for me so far, and that's why this weekend is disappointing. Is Army's defense. Am I talking about? I'm actually talking about Army's defense.
I'm sorry. Are you not supporting the troops, the Department of Defense, literally?
Look right here on the shirt, and plus I'm a actual veteran, so yeah,
that was the joke.
I support, but Army's defense, and this is you know, we everyone knows what Army's offense is going to be, and they're going to come at you and cup it, and if you get the ball once a quarter, you are lucky.
Mm-hmm.
But Army's defense, granted, like, you know, the competition is you get hit, but it's been lights out this season. And
I'm sorry,
really
they held Fun Belt team. Remember, you're letting the Fun Belt into your heart. They held a Fun Belt team to 7 points on Fun Belt weekend. All right. So
and there's no fun in the Army. That's not how it works. But so this weekend I was going to find out. I mean, right? We're gonna see BYU and Army, and
we're not.
And we're not gonna. No. I have to wait a week. Since he's hosting the Austin P Show Me the Money tour this weekend. And then since
governors get your money.
And then they play Army next weekend. So I can wait a week. We'll find out about Army then. But I continue to be pleased about my pick for the team I'm supporting in 2020.
You can be pleased until early November.
Yeah, probably.
Have you seen the November schedule for Army?
Yes.
It's beautiful. It is absolutely beautiful. The total time those games are going to take is approximately 13 minutes. Actual real time. They play Air Force November 7th, right. Tulane on the 14th, Georgia Southern, another option team, on the 21st, and then there's 2 weeks, and then they play Navy.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh,
it's going to be awesome.
Triple option November, everybody.
Yes. There's a T-shirt. There is a T-shirt
triple
that
option
I need
November.
to have.
A ton of fun.
Hashtag CNC show, triple option November.
Option November. It's a ton of fun. TON.
Oh man! So we'll find out about Army in a couple of weeks, and just get down with the triple option for the whole month of November. Is going to be.
I'm sorry. I just looked at the 2020 team leaders.
Mm.
How many yards of passing does the quarterback for Army have right now? 2 games.
I don't know. After the first weekend, his passing line was 2 completions on 4 attempts.
Okay.
And I don't recall the yardage. So building from that,
sure.
What do we got?
Carla, do you have a guess?
I'm going to guess 75 yards.
Okay, Crappy, what's your guess?
75 seems ambitious. I'm gonna go 35 yards passing.
29.
Oh! I still went over though.
2 closest. I was about to say he had 2 completions on 4 attempts. Whoa! Who's breaking up?
Playing Price is Right rules. Carla and I are both disqualified.
Womp,
womp. Just I love you, Army. I love you, Navy. I love all the service academies for running the triple option. It's the best.
Yes. We have a bunch of games. I think almost all of which involve a team that's in AJ's wheelhouse, which is why this is going to be fun. Because we have a bunch of games, we're going to do this in something we've done the past couple of years in a speed round style to refresh you guys for the rules. Each person has up to 60 seconds for analysis and a pick. I am not going to actually ring the bell. I'm going to insert the bell noise when I tell you guys to stop, because my wife is already asleep and this bell is really obnoxious. So I'm not going to do that to her. So these games are all on Saturday. We are going to get through them in chronological order. And we're going to start at noon. Tulsa, the Golden Hurricanes, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
At number 11, Oklahoma State. The Cowboys are favored by 23. A healthy over-under of 66.5 points. AJ, this just seems like a game that you should start with. So we're going to get the clock ready here and go.
Oklahoma State, I think, deserves this line. They have a very, very good offense. I believe they're returning their quarterback. the problem is that neither team has played a game yet. So it's very difficult to say what either of them are capable of at this moment, especially this year. Literally, they may not have, they've barely practiced. That was a recurring theme in week 1 and 2 of teams that really didn't practice. And then it showed in their tackling. So I expect Oklahoma State to run away with this one. Maybe Tulsa covers if you're into that sort of thing. That's all legal now, so it's fine. But yeah, I expect Oklahoma State to run away with this one.
Okay. Carla, what do you think?
So the Big 12 was underwhelming at best last week.
That's a generous statement.
That might, yeah,
At best.
At best. And some publications, depending on who you read, had Oklahoma State in the mix for the conference title. In fact, I read one that was like a 3-way tie where they were all going to beat each other up. It was between Oklahoma State, and Texas. So on paper, the Oklahoma State offense should be pretty spectacular. Chuba Hubbard is back playing the season, best running back name other than Kenneth Gainwell, who is sitting out the season at Memphis. So Chuba Hubbard now wins for the best name for a running back.
It is actually, I believe it's Chuba Hubbard.
Is it Chuba Hubbard?
Which makes it even better.
Okay.
Shout out to Chuba Hubbard.
He led the nation in rushing in 2019. And yes, their quarterback returns, and they've got 2 big receivers, Tylan Wallace, and then Wazoo transfer, Tay Martin is coming in. So, you know, he's used to running the fun and gun, so this should be great for him. So that Oklahoma State offense should be great. Tulsa has a bevy of running backs. They have like a complete fleet of running backs in the backfield and a senior quarterback. So surprise, we're talking about a Big 12 game that has no defense. So I'm going to say Tulsa, I think, has enough offense to hang with them. I think Tulsa covers, but Oklahoma State wins and take the over.
Okay. My and Carla, you touched on this. Tulsa is crazy deep at running back. 2 returning seniors, a situational fat guy, and 2 SEC transfers who are eligible to contribute this season. State doesn't need to be crazy deep at running back because it has Chuba Hubbard. Cowboys win. Boom. There you go. Also at noon, Houston at Baylor. Baylor is favored by 4.5 points with an almost as healthy over-under of 63 points. Carla, we're going to let you go first this time. Go.
Okay. This is the epitome of we have no idea.
Yeah,
concept. Neither of these teams have played yet. Houston massively underachieved last year. New head coach with Dana Holgorsen, and they just didn't. You know, they were 4-8. I thought they were going to be right in the mix for a group of 5 to get into a major bowl game, and obviously that didn't happen. There were some team issues that they were dealing with, but yeah. So Houston was underwhelming. And here's a shocking thing. Take everything I just said about the last game and strike that, because here we have a Big 12 game that might actually show signs of defense. Houston's defense could be pretty good. Grant Stewart is back. He led the team in tackles in 2019. So the Houston defense could be pretty good. Baylor is now coached by the former defensive coordinator of LSU in Dave Aranda. So you've got to expect that Baylor's defense is going to start getting better when you have a defensive coordinator as your head coach. They also have a returning quarterback in Charlie Brewer. Keep an eye on this one. Baylor should win, but this one's going to be entertaining.
Oh boy, you've got this down to like a minute exactly. AJ,
I practiced.
AJ, go.
This game is a proof that all of your talk about how scheduling is hard is lame and dumb and doesn't matter, because this game was literally pulled out of a rabbit's hat last week. Houston said, hey, our game got postponed. Baylor, you want to go? And Baylor was like, all right. And then this game's happening. So I don't know what's going to happen. I expect Houston to get better this year. They were as Carla said, they were 4-8 last year. They have to get better. They're too talented to not be that bad. And Dave Aranda coming into Baylor, we have no idea what that's going to mean, but being the defensive team in an offensive conference might actually play into like the Stanfordness, like Stanford does in the Big 12. So I expect this one to be close, but again, neither team's played. We have no idea.
We have no idea. AJ, you're picking up on that very nicely, and we appreciate that. It's good for the branding this in 2020. This is a Southwest Conference rivalry revival.
Mm-hmm.
Are you guys old enough to remember the Southwest Conference?
I do.
Okay. Yeah, because AJ's 23 years old.
Something like that. These
something
grays
like-
belie
He's
my
getting
age.
younger as the show goes on. I like this.
I
I'm gonna be 15
Uh,
drinking illegally on the stream soon.
So you've got that history between the schools. Dana Snorgelson knows Baylor thanks to assignment in West Virginia. That's not going to be enough though if Dave Aranda can just sort of stay out of Charlie Brewer's way, because he's been a starter for I think all 4 years. He's been in Waco, and that's going to be a tough thing to overcome. Bears win this one. If it's 2:30 on Saturday, that means there's a game in South Bend because Notre Dame is special. South Florida at number 7, Notre Dame. Notre Dame is favored by 26. I didn't bother looking up the over/under for a Notre Dame game.
50.
Is it?
According to ESPN, it's 50.
That seems generous. I don't know. AJ, you want to go first?
Yeah, LOL. This
Go.
game is on USA Network. So if you want to watch this game, you
saw
gotta
that.
Yeah, it's going to be bookended by episodes of Monk. So it's fine. No, I'm sorry, I broke Carla. Yeah, listen, Notre Dame is a very good team. Ian Book can't read defenses. I don't necessarily think that South Florida is good enough to make this fun. I hope they are, but they're not. So Notre Dame probably wins. We don't talk about blues.
Okay.
Notre Dame is pleased. So
Carla, go.
Hey, Notre Dame started real slow last week.
Yeah.
I watched the first half of that game and I was just like, okay, Duke's hanging around. And then eventually they kind of got their acts together in the second half and did what we expected them to do. South Florida likes to run the football a lot. They ran for 300 yards last week. Not true, it was against Citadel, but still, they're a ground team. Challenge here is the fact that Notre Dame actually did a pretty decent job of stopping the run against Duke. So the Notre Dame defense actually gave up more yards on defense than USF did, and they were playing better competition. If South Florida can throw the ball to loosen up that rush defense, this might be an interesting game. But right now, it's strength against strength, and I'm going to take the Irish.
Okay. During I watched like the first half of this game, and during I was texting my former intern who was close personal friends with Ian Book. I'm like, "What's up with your dude?" And she's like, "God, he sucks." His stat line turned out okay, and this is going to be another week where he doesn't have to do a whole lot other than not screw up and turn over the football too much. I wish it was Central Florida. I wish it was UCF coming to South Bend instead of South Florida, but we're not going to get that game. Notre Dame's going to win this one, and as far as that goes. Next up at 3:30, we have the aforementioned UCF at Georgia Tech, fresh off a win on the road at Florida State. UCF is favored by a touchdown and a half a point. Carla, what do you think?
Sentence I never thought I would utter this season. Is Georgia Tech for real?
I wrote down, is Georgia Tech good? That's literally the first line of my notes for this game.
Yeah, like it's not something that I ever thought we would talk about, but here we are. The thing we talked about last week about Georgia Tech possibly being able to sneak a win out of Tallahassee, that's exactly what happened. Now they're at home against a ranked UCF team who hasn't played yet this year. So this is Georgia Tech for real? We're going to find out. UCF went 10-3 last year with a bowl win. This is going to be a really fun battle between two really young quarterbacks that are going to be rising up through the NCAA. Between UCF's Dylan Gabriel, who started all but one game last year, and then Jeff Sims, who had an incredible start last week down in Tallahassee against the Seminoles. This is going to be a really, really fun game, I think. I'm going to give the honestly, I'm a coin flip on this one. This is the hardest game for me to pick this week. Because we don't know anything at all about UCF. I'm going to say because they're ranked, they had a better season last year, that UCF is going to start the season well. But I think this game is going to be close and really entertaining.
Okay. AJ, go.
Nothing is better from a Florida State loss than Florida State fan reactions. The best thing. It should be a currency. I have a screenshot on my desktop right now of the two guys in red and gold glitter with matching masks. It's my favorite.
Yes, I saw that.
Yeah, I have that one. And my other favorite was at the beginning of the game where they were talking about Doak Campbell Stadium and their COVID things, and there's just some lady like this. She's just holding a beer, no mask. It's the best. I love you, ESPN.
This one, I kind of get your time. The fun thing was like, they've let 10,000 students into this game, and I'm looking on TV. It's like, and they put them all in one section.
The student section will always live.
I don't.
There's an entire stadium. Use it, you dummies. Listen, Georgia Tech snuck out of there with a win. It was super fun to watch because LOL Florida State. UCF is better than Florida State and will likely win this game. Yeah, it's truly amazing to watch a school like UCF actually, that not only did they come up and win a national title according to the NCAA record books, but also it's a fact they won it, and then and maintain that generally. They've been a 9-10 win team for the last 5 or 6 years. They've gone from they've changed coaches now to Josh Heupel. So good for UCF. UCF wins this game.
Okay. As I mentioned before, I wrote down in my notes, is Georgia Tech good?
No.
And then here's the acronym that we should be using. We should have been using this whole season, WHNI, which we could pronounce whiny, I guess. Logic says a team transitioning from an option offense to a pro-style offense is still going to have some matchup issues against a good team, which UCF is, and Florida State apparently is not. So UCF is going to win this one. 3:30, number 23, Appalachian State at Marshall. Appalachian State is favored by 4.5 points. AJ, go.
Not only is Appalachian State playing Marshall, which is an out-of-conference game.
Yeah.
But this game is the 3:30 game on CBS. This is a nationally televised game.
And that's awesome.
Oh,
That is
Appalachia
awesome.
coming at you. Let's go. Well, I cannot tell you how happy this makes me, because Appalachian State and Marshall are two very, very good football teams that this game normally ESPN would put on like ESPN 12. But instead, CBS is putting this on national television because they don't have the SEC yet. That's not till next week, everyone. So you get App State and Marshall on television. App State is favored by 4.5. This is the game of the weekend. I don't give a crap what's happening at 8 p.m. on ABC. This is the game of the weekend. Highly excited for this one. A friend of mine will be at the game. Very excited for him as well.
10-ish second.
I'm going to go ahead and pick App State here, though. App State is a very, very good football team. They struggled with Charlotte early. They couldn't run away. But in the second half, they picked it up and took it away. So App State in this one.
Okay. Carla, and I go.
So two completely different styles of offense here, right? So App State started slow against Charlotte, but eventually put it away. They're a run-first offense. They rushed for over 300 yards in the win over Charlotte, have a very strong offensive line. Marshall, super impressive in week 1, but again, that was against an FCS opponent. Right now, they're throw-heavy, right? They starting quarterback, freshman kid, local kid. We talked about him in the first week. Grant Wells had a superb start to his career. Marshall also has a very strong offensive line and a very a pass-heavy offense. So it's a really interesting juxtaposition between these two offenses. Entertaining, deserves the national spot. I'm going to go App State because I'm not going to pick against the Fun Belt until they do something to make me not pick them.
Okay.
Also, a real quick fact to throw in here. This is the 50th anniversary of the We Are Marshall plane crash, which is a big reason why Marshall was pushing so hard to keep their home games, because they had planned a bunch of things out. So this is the 50th anniversary. So they will likely make references to that on the television broadcast. Go Herd. But I think
that's going to come up. That's going to come up. This is game 2 for both teams, but the season openers are kind of like an apple and oranges deal. The Herd opened with 1AA Eastern Kentucky 2 weeks ago. The what was it? The Big Sandy River rivalry? Is that what
that's what you called it? Yeah.
Appy State opened with Charlotte, a CUSA opponent, and racked up 500 plus yards of offense on the Niners. I think that counts for something. I think Marshall having a week off, that's a little tricky thing to deal with. Momentum counts. And these Mountaineers will beat the Herd at home. AJ, here's the game that you're not looking forward to. At 7:30, number 17 Miami at number 18 Louisville. Louisville is favored by 2.5 points, which in gambling parlance is basically a push. Carla, what do you think about this one?
So Miami runs the football.
Yes,
that might be an understatement. Cameron Harris had his first 100-yard game last week. They picked up a transfer from Houston, Derek King, dual threat quarterback. So they've got a pretty nice little running attack with Miami. And Derek King actually is fun stat. He has 16 consecutive games now with both a passing TD and a rushing TD. So he's the epitome of a dual threat quarterback. The statistic that stands out to me at this game though is this. Louisville is pass heavy offense, right? They had 343 yards in the air last week. Miami gave up 200 yards passing against UAB. The Miami secondary is not very good at all. They've got a good pass rush, but if the quarterback has enough time to throw the football, that secondary is pretty light and there's some room there. The other thing worth noting here is that Miami torched Louisville last year. Wasn't even close. Louisville's going to come out with a chip on its shoulder and it's going to get revenge and it's going to beat the U on Saturday night. Okay.
AJ, go.
Derek King, labeled dual threat quarterback last week, very singular threat. He was sailing passes left and right. I watched a lot of that game, but on the ground, he was tearing UAB apart. They ran for 330 yards of rushing last week because it worked. Does Miami move to the triple? That'd be amazing. Probably not. Derek King did not sit out last year and then transferred to Miami this year to run the option. So I would say that Miami, they need to get their passing offense going. If they can get that going, they can make this a lot closer with Louisville. But I think that being that one-sided on the ball is not going to help them against a team like Louisville. I'll take the Cardinals.
Okay. Stop. The thing about Louisville last weekend, and this is we're correctly spending a lot of time on offense for this game. Here's the thing about the Cardinals defense: they gave up 3 touchdowns last weekend against Western Kentucky. 2 of them were on drives of less than 5 yards because their punter is brand new and kept screwing stuff up, fumbling a snap and getting a kick block. The 3rd touchdown that Louisville gave up was when backups were in. That I think is going to be enough. Plus, there are a few fans in the stand, so maybe you have a home field advantage. Louisville is going to win this game. Boys and girls, you can hear the Carla and Crappy Show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, whatever Google's service is called these days, Stitcher, TuneIn, and a bunch of other podcasting hosts. You can watch us on YouTube and on the show's Facebook page. If you like us, please subscribe, rate, and review. If you don't, mind your own damn business. And whatever you do, be sure to come back next week to see exactly how wrong we were. AJ, do you have any final thoughts?
I have one game that needs to be covered.
Please.
I didn't text you guys. I didn't tell you guys.
No, good.
9 p.m. Eastern. I will be covering whatever the latest game is. 9 p.m. Eastern. Abilene Christian going to the Sun Bowl to play UTEP. That game is on ESPN3. I will watch that game like it's the Super Bowl because it is the after darkest game possible. Last week was Big 12 After Dark. This week is, I believe, is UTEP Fun Belt?
I think
no, they're in the CUSA.
Are they CUSA? Okay.
Yeah, they're in
where
the
does Abilene Christian? Where do they?
Abilene Christian is in the Southland Conference. They have not played a game yet this year. They have a 3-game schedule. They're playing UTEP this week, Army on October 3rd.
I thought they were
the West Texas A&M Buffaloes on October 17th.
Maybe we just need to turn the Bahamas Bowl into like the Southland Championship between Houston Baptist and Abilene Christian.
No, they need to do the Bahamas Bowl needs to be the championship of the group of 5. Like they need to have, because I think who's still playing? It's because the MAC and the Mountain West aren't playing. Mm-hmm. So it's
CUSA Fun Belt.
CUSA Sun Belt and the American. They got to play a 4-team playoff at the Bahamas Bowl. Done.
Well, and baseball just said they're doing a single site World Series. So I don't know why you couldn't do that for college football. Just send them.
Play 2 games back to back. Yeah. Wait a week, 2 games back to back. Do it over Christmas break. You'll be in the Bahamas. They have less cases.
I like this idea.
Y'all ever
like this idea?
Come on, think ahead. Use your big brain.
Carla, you have a final thought or two?
I have one final thought, one last game to throw out there. A
Yes.
little bit of personal rooting interest here. We have a trophy game this weekend. So
Who I can't remember.
there is a trophy game happening this weekend as Troy comes
Yes,
to
that's
battle MTSU.
Mhm.
It is the Battle for the Palladium, a game that has not been played since 2012. These were both Sun Belt opponents
Mhm.
back in the day, and then MTSU left for CUSA, and so they haven't played since 2012.
Pretty scared.
MTSU holds the trophy. It is in Murfreesboro, and they're actually playing a home and home this year, because of the way the schedule's worked out. So this game will actually be played twice, once in Murfreesboro, once in Troy, Alabama.
This season.
That's
Yeah. Awesome. Okay.
Yeah, they're playing home and home. So let's keep the trophy in Murfreesboro, Blue Raiders. Okay.
What does the the Palladium's a building, isn't it?
Yeah, and I couldn't find a picture of the trophy. I was like Google searching images trying to find an image of this trophy, but it's because the Blue Raiders mascot is like it's called Lightning, and so it's got like a Greek mythology piece to it with the Troy Greek mythology piece, and so that's how they came up with the Palladium thing.
Gotcha. Okay. No, that's awesome. Awesome.
So yeah, go win the Battle of the Palladium, please.
A trophy game in September. That's why this stuff is fantastic. Guys, thank you very much for joining us. Thank you, AJ, for joining us live. This
Absolutely.
is always awesome to have you on the show. Carla,
Yes,
enjoy your trophy game.
I will.
And,
I'm not
we will
going.
see.
I'm not going.
That's okay. That's okay.
I'll watch on TV.
Yeah, that's fine. And all three of you and everybody else enjoy the games this weekend and come back next week for more, hopefully, more fun of a similar variety. Thank you guys. Cheers.